Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Braden, Tim, Second Legacy. You are amazing. And today we have got to talk about something that recurs in our gun world like a bad case of gout: ammo shortages. Because an article just came out and I was finding very fascinating around ammo and should you stack it? Should you hoard it? Should you really grab what you can while you can? This is something that comes up every, I swear, 5 months. And it always kind of doesn't work, Tim. That's what we're going to talk about. Everything will be linked in the description. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Tim, do you have your ammo? Are you ready for the coming ammo shortage that never seems to come, but it's always coming?
Oh, yeah. I mean, every election cycle we go through this, don't we?
Every single... Dude, it's not even an election cycle anymore. Now it's like there was a butterfly flapped its wings in Asia, and because of that, we're going to have a gunpowder shortage. Primers, don't even mention them. They're verboten. You'll never be able to shoot a gun again.
The one that cracked me up the most was during the Obama era in .22 long rifle. Like, everything disappeared. We had a complete, just a complete purging of all ammunition from the shelves of gun stores across the nation. And then all the ammo started coming. That was the first time I actually considered buying and using 40 Smith & Wesson, because it was the only cartridge you could find.
The only thing left.
Right? And so, because nobody wanted that garbage cartridge.
Nobody wanted it, right?
But anyway, so then all the ammo comes back, with the exception of .22 long rifle. And if you lived through that era, you know, through the entire duration of the Obama administration, you could not get .22 ammo. Not for anything.
A brick of that was like $250. No, like... 2,500 rounds of 22 was like $250. It was a lot of money for 22.
And so immediately after that ended, I went out and just absolutely stocked up on .22 long rifle when the prices returned to normal and the flow of ammunition resumed. So yeah, no, I'm pretty good on ammo, because I learned from the last couple of times that when they do this, like during the whole Wuhan Weezer thing, I had ammo, I just rationed it. And what's funny is what I was rationing during 2020 and 2021 and even 2022 a bit, I have still continued doing that. So, it used to be we would go out and just fire hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rounds every day, sometimes even 1,000 rounds a day.
Yeah.
We can't do that anymore, because you just never know what's around the corner. You can't keep your ammo supply right at the bare minimum. You got to keep it elevated. You just never know what
you got to keep it elevated a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly. You got to raise your basement level a little bit. It's an interesting perspective, because, dude, I'm not kidding, Tim, and we've talked about this offline a bunch. I swear, every 3 months, it's like clockwork. Articles will start coming out, videos will start coming out about a pending ammo shortage for XYZ reason. And every single time you just go, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
I swear it's every 3 months. But what we're about to walk through is the reason why these things consistently pop up. It's all economics. And the answer, Tim, is also economics.
Socialism.
It's not
we'll fix it. And taxes.
Obviously, socialism and taxes, just like the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
It's just like carbon tax.
Not my ammo, it's our ammo.
It's ours. It's collective ammo. That's right. But we're about to walk through a few things. I guess what I'm really trying to say, Tim, is the global pressures and demand for ammo is what affects those prices. It is not anything beyond that. The government, like there was a rumor about 6 months ago that the government was buying up every single round of ammunition, and we were never going to have any left.
I remember that. Yeah.
You remember that one, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're kind of going to World War III. Like, you kind of need it. But the answer is that's economics too. Check this out. And sure as right as rain, Tim, as a flare-up of gout, is there a major ammo shortage coming?
Let's use herpes.
Okay, herpes. Like a flare-up of herpes.
How about monkeypox?
You're a special soul, Tim. You're a special soul. How does monkeypox get transmitted? Doesn't matter anyway, moving right along. So this kind of speaks to what you...
through what the crassicines do, but we'll get into that.
Don't you do it. Yeah. Don't you do a pantomime. Don't you do a pantomime.
All right.
So this is number 2. This is kind of speaking to what we were just mentioning. Over the last 16 years, American shooters have dealt with a number of ammunition shortages. These drive up prices and make ammunition hard to find. Often, if you didn't find what you're looking for, the price was prohibitively expensive. During the great 2022, God almighty, the great 22 long rifle shortage, which is what you were just referencing, cheap bulk pack rifle ammunition was sold at sky-high scalpers' prices. Prices jumped during COVID, and today rifle ammunition is still substantially more expensive than it was just a few years ago. And this is what's so interesting. We also had 40 million new buyers enter the market in an unprecedented level because Biden was threatening the gun rights and basically letting criminals out on the streets. This is a natural shortage. It's a natural induced shortage because more people buying guns, which is good for the Second Amendment. The ammo manufacturers just need to catch up at this point. That's what's happening. We had an influx of buyers. We had a decrease of importing ammunition. All the things that we're seeing right now are economic forces. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, but look, so many things govern ammo availability and pricing, right? Take, for example, lead. Mm-hmm. You know how many lead producing companies we have in the United States right now, lead mines that produce?
Zero.
Right. And that's changed. That's because of, far left lunacy and the whole green movement. So now we have to get our lead from overseas, because if we don't dig it out of the ground and process it, then magically, we're fixing the environment. As long as China's doing it, we're good. Right. Yeah. So we, the American consumer, get screwed at the cash register. You know why the communists make money hand over fist, because we're being green over here. Makes a lot of sense. But anyway, so that drives availability and pricing. Gunpowder, primers, brass, all these things, even brass. Brass is surprisingly expensive to produce. Okay. And so that's why you see communist countries using steel cases, mild steel cases. It's far more cost effective and more readily available. So all these things control, what we're going to see. Plus, ammunition companies, many of which, like when we get into a war, they will supply government contracts, and law enforcement contracts get precedent with most of these companies. If they have a government contract, their contract will say, if we place an order, you fill our contract first. And so when that happens, all that ammo goes to the government to go fight a war. That dries up the availability of the same ammunition on the civilian market, and that causes prices to skyrocket. So yes, it's just basic economics that drives all this.
Yep.
And there's so many factors. But just touch on a few.
Tons. Yeah, no, absolutely tons. So this is what's so interesting about this. A lot of people in the gun world who will make content around this, which is not a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is, right? They will absolutely see the front end problem of government consumption going up for a war, but they will not see the back end solution, which is more producers will flood into the market to meet the existing demand. That's the thing. So on the domestic front, if you had normal amount of ammunition production and you had the government, in this case, the Biden administration, ban importing of Russian ammunition, well, that's going to lower the influx of ammunition. And then you had a war that's popping off in multiple different regions and locales across the world. You're going to have more ammo go out. So, I mean, what you're experiencing is a normal economic flow. You have a fixed supply at the moment. Demand outstrips supply. The supply will meet the demand. That literally more factories will come up and more solutions will be provided. You know a good example of this, Tim? The ARs came out,
yes,
and Obama was all the mass producers. The ARs were basically like every single one of them was sold during Obama's administration. Well, smaller niche firms came up and they started to make more and more and more ARs. And all of a sudden, Trump got into office and you got a glut of ARs on the market. That's the exact opposite part of the problem.
Right. Yeah. So the market has to be very, very careful. So when there is a shortage of a particular product, in this case ammunition, if let's say Federal or Winchester spins up additional production, which they will do, but they're not, if they just run additional shifts and make people work 24/7, so they have shifts running, all day and night, they can increase production. What they're really apprehensive to do is a blip in demand. They're very apprehensive to go out and spend tens of millions of dollars spinning up new buildings and production facilities to meet that demand, only to have that demand collapse 6 months later when the market demand has been met, which then puts them in a financial bind. So this problem, people go, well, they should just invest more in ammunition. They're screwing us over. No, they're trying to run a sound business that doesn't fail as the ebb and flow of the market dictates prices and availability. So, but what it does do, another example of this. So we saw, the whole Wuhan Weezer thing, the drying up of guns and ammunition for a while there, where people were out buying guns and ammunition at an accelerated rate, and of course coupled with the ban on Russian ammunition imports. Then we saw companies like PSA step up, and so they took a look at this. We went out and visited them, and one of the key factors of ammo availability and pricing is a very limited number of people that supply primers, because manufacturing primers is very dangerous, right? You're dealing with a chemical composition that's extremely shock sensitive and very explosive. And so there's a very finite number of people that manufacture primers. So we couldn't get primers. If you remember, if you're a reloader, primers were almost impossible to find, right?
I do. I remember that.
Because that was holding up the entire production of ammunition because of the. So what did PSA do? They went out and built a brand new primer manufacturing facility. I saw it. They went out and bought machinery from overseas to do something that we haven't done here in the United States in a long time, and that's produce steel-cased ammunition. And so it will cause other companies that are, very competitive, like PSA, to go out and say, there's a potential market here, so we are going to invest in this. And so you do have, the market will correct itself. We just have to weather those ups and downs, and you can do that by stockpiling a little ammo. When the prices are good and availability is there, put a little extra away.
But not, and this is really, really important, but not when the rumors of ammunition shortage start, because then you're exacerbating the problem, making it feel worse than it is. Basically, when you panic buy, that's effectively what it is. When you panic buy like that, you're artificially flooding the market with a artificial demand. So the companies can't get a read on what the true demand is. So literally, it just becomes like what Tim said. PSA will come out and they'll start manufacturing steel-cased ammunition because there's a demand in the market. But if they can't gauge what's truly the active demand after a blip or an increase in sales, they're going to be hesitant to invest money to do an entire factory because literally they don't know, right? Now, this is kind of a problem where we're a victim of our own success here, because 40 million new gun owners in 4 years, that's incredible. That is a lot of new gun owners, and they're all going to demand the same ammunition. They're all going to want to get into the exact same stuff.
9mm, 223, 45 ACP, and when and if you think about this, if you had 40 million new gun buyers, and if each of them just bought a single firearm, and with that they bought 100 or 200 rounds of ammunition, that's millions and millions of rounds of ammunition, right? And so that puts a pressure on the market. And so that's always see. But the thing to do is just write it out, know that these types of ups and downs are coming, and just try to prepare for them. Like when prices are down, which they have been for some time now, if you're going to go out and shoot 100 rounds, buy 200, put 100 away. And that way, when things like this happen, then you can ration the ammo you have. You can still enjoy shooting, hunting, and all the other things that you do. It's just, you got to be a little bit proactive in making sure that the ammo supply is there versus, like you said, panic buying and not only exacerbating the problem, but, kind of paying more for the product at the time when you're panic buying. Because by the time panic buying starts, the prices are already going up.
They're already going up. And the funny part about that is the reason that the companies move into that entire space is because the prices are going sky high and they see profit margin. So it's like all of these things are tied so closely together. It's much broader than just they're going to get your gun control through manipulation of the ammo shortage or ammo control supply. It's about all the economic forces that are coming onto it, how much demand and how much supply. I mean, we're in a gun owning boom right now, and it's really incredible to see. We've been in one since pretty much, what would you say, Obama era? First year of Obama, then I had a 4-year break during the Trump slump, and then we had 4 more years of intense. I mean, you're talking about 12 years of insane buying levels. Yeah. It's not common.
No, but it's also fatigued the market, right? People have maxed out credit cards, and we've already seen the opposite end of that. Post Wuhan Weezer, we saw people that were panic buying tons of guns and racking up credit card debt, now coming back and dumping them when the market is depressed, and they need the money.
Thus depressing
they
the
go
market
and sell
further.
the guns for a loss, right? And so don't be that person either, because I get it. I'm very impulsive. I see something I want, I definitely want to go get it. I don't want to wait. And sometimes I even want 2. Why? I don't know. But if one is good, 2's even better, right? But you don't want to get into that trap where then you have all this stuff that you have to dump when, finances get tight and the market's depressed and you take a bath on your investment, right? So.
Right. Well, and so here, this last piece of this article that I thought was pertinent to this is an interesting piece because like we said, there are absolutely external forces on our supply of ammunition in the United States, 100%. When the entire world is going to war, you're going to see an adjustment in the demand for gunpowder, primers, brass. It's just, that is a natural byproduct, right? So here's number 4. With the demise of military surplus and Russian ammunition banned from the U.S. market, the ammunition supply for American shooters was already in a precarious position. Basically, you have more gun owners in the U.S. than there have ever been before, which is absolutely true. but you have less ammunition available than in years past, a lot less. Now, we have even more bad news, a looming gunpowder shortage. This not only drives up prices, but it will lead to shortages as well. This will affect powder for reloading and factory ammunition. Okay, so this is an interesting piece to this, because the way that that's kind of framed right there is it's going to directly affect your ammunition. It is going to directly affect your ammunition, but you have to understand where that's coming from. Right? That's not some person sitting in the back room nefariously thinking, I'm going to take their gunpowder. No, what it is Israel wanting a lot of gunpowder to fuel their explosives. Ukraine, war at Russia, that's a demand on global supply. And then you got the whole, what was that other one, Tim? Oh, we got like 3 or 4 hotspots. We got Ukraine.
Well, you have NATO Israel mobilizing tens of thousands of troops to the Russian border in preparation for hostilities, perhaps. And so what happens when NATO moves? Well, all those NATO countries are going to lock down their small arms supplies and their ammunition supplies because they're spending up for war. So that's going to put downward pressure on all things. And it's not going to just be gunpowder. It's going to be all components. It's going to be lead, copper, primers, gunpowder, brass. All of it's going to become scarce if war breaks out in Europe. Well, World War II, if war expands in Europe, where do you have war in Europe?
I'm about to say if war expands, right? World War II, for example, is a great example. That's a very good point. Women couldn't have silk stockings because they needed them for the camo nets.
Mm-hmm. They rationed gasoline.
Rubber was
tires.
rationed.
I have my mother's
gasoline
ration books.
Was rationed. Right. But that's my point. When there's a fixed finite amount of supply of any item and there's a war, the government goes, us first. And literally, we're left with whatever's left. I mean,
all production goes.
You have to understand. Yeah, everything goes towards that war effort, and it's the exact same with ammunition and gunpowder. And I'll be quite honest with you, the entire world is blowing up right now, so gunpowder is handy.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
But you maybe get into bow hunting for like 3 years.
I actually did that during the Wuhan Weezer. I actually bought a crossbow.
You can
and
hunt with
bow
it for 1 year. Just good, just fine.
I bought a crossbow, a Raven, just so I could hunt because I didn't know what was going to happen.
You would flex with a Raven, wouldn't you? Yeah, you can't get a normal crossbow. You got to get one of those nice fancy ones, don't you?
Yeah, the Ravens are cool.
I see you.
Yeah,
they are really cool.
They're cool. But anyway,
so that's what I've got for you.
That's it. All right, great. Ammo shortage, awesome.
Maybe potentially, we don't know.
I think
what we're not going to do, Tim, we're not going to panic buy.
Oh, I'm not. Absolutely not. Maybe we ought to invest in backhoes and front loaders so we can dig some fallout shelters, because I think that's going to become back in vogue. I think everybody's talking about nuclear war now. Iran's claiming they have a nuke.
I don't want to, Tim.
Right.
Can I? I don't want to. I just don't want to.
You don't want to? Come on.
No, I just don't want to.
Have a little fun. I'm going to close this out if you don't hurry up.
You need to close this out before I start making either backhoe jokes 2024 or I start making nuke websites. We got to go.
Joan Ho jokes? All right, fine. We're out. Bye, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching Second Legacy.